What's up, kids? Anyway, here's the deal. So that wonderful video that I made this afternoon, I was going to snip just parts of it out and make this short little bit of work for myself. No. It got deleted. So I get to make another video. Woohoo! But it's going to be fun. Mr. Goom's going to have a good attitude about it. So in this video, I'm going to show you the other kind of blade brakes. We talked about that, the flywheel brake. We showed you the one today in class. And then today, so this afternoon, when I thought, well, I'll get out some other mowers and I'll show you the other kind. I'm also going to show you the other kind of governor setup that we often see. And then I'm going to pull flywheels off. First, I'm going to show you a different kind of recoil mechanism. And then I'm going to pull off some more flywheels using the 3 techniques that were supposed to be in the video, but they didn't happen. So whatever. Here we go. Seriously? Can't turn the camera around? The heck, brah? All right. We back. All right. Now, here we go. So, this is the other style of governor. Okay? And of course, one piece of it is missing, so that's always fun. But let me just show you, kind of generally speaking, how it works. This little guy here is called a wind vane governor, and as the flywheel spins, the fan pushes this guy this way. So the faster the engine goes, the more it goes this way. Now there's supposed to be a rod that's hooked between here and here, and as it goes this way, it's going to pull the throttle this way, which closes the throttle, slows the engine down. As the engine slows down, this guy's going to come back this way, and it's going to do what? Well, it's going to push this way, and it's going to open the throttle. This is called a wind vane governor. Very, very common. Very, very common. The other kind is fairly common too. This is a very common one. Okay? So this has, as you can see on top, this style of brake we talked about in class. When you let go of the handle, this little piece, some jackass put a zip tie on there, because why wouldn't you put a zip tie right there in the road? All right, yeah, fix that. There, I fixed it. Anywho, there's a piece of wire on there too. Kind of a goober did that. I might take responsibility for the zip tie, but it wasn't me that did the other part. Now, here we go. Judas. Now, I see what the issue is. Some clown. Oh, brother. All right, whatever. Anyway, when you have the engine, ouch, that's because the spring is still in here. Notice how that brake is against the flywheel right there. That's what it looks like when you have let go of the handle on your mower. This little piece of metal here comes underneath of here, and it shorts out the coil, kills the spark. And then the brake drags against here and stops that in a hurry. Remember, only lawnmowers have these brakes. Okay? Because, why? Because you've got a blade spinning around. It's going to cut some kid's hand off or something if he gets in the road. Okay? So in general, it's just a nice safety feature. Pretty easy to look at. Now, this is what happens when I squeeze the handle. Notice how it pulls away. So it can spin freely, and this piece of metal is no longer grounding out the coil. Now your engine will start. You let go of the handle, bam, and it comes down to a stop. That's one kind of brake. This is the other kind of brake. Similar procedure. When you let go of the handle, right? When you let go of the handle, this piece moves that away, and this brake lining here grips the flywheel all the way around. Okay? When you pull the handle, it kicks it back this way, and there's a gap there, and it's no longer grinding on there. The piece that shorts out the coil is underneath of it on this one, but the exact same principle. Once again, this guy also is a wind vane governor, but again, some loser has lost the connector piece there. Okay? Now, those are the 2 styles of brakes. Very common. Both of them are very common. I would argue that the newer one, this one over here, is this one with the little shoe The little brake shoe up there, if I can do it without getting my computer completely disgustingly greasy, I can tip you up. That one is, oops, maybe a little more common perhaps than this one over here. This is the slightly older style, but it's not old. This is slightly older style. Now, you might ask yourself, hey, Mr. Groom, this looks different. It looks odd. All the ones we looked at in class had this sort of a flywheel setup. That's right. This kind here, this is the part that's ratcheting. Notice it spins this way freely, and it doesn't spin this way freely. It's a different design. Inside of here, there's 4 or 5 little ball bearings, and they roll freely this way, but you try to go this way, they splay out, just kind of like those fingers we saw today, those dogs, and they grip. So when you pull, you'd spin the engine that way, and then it would back feed this way, just free as a kite. Now, we're going to pull some flywheels off here, okay? We're going to do that in just a jiffy. And we're going to do it right now, because why not? Right now. Felt like there was something else I wanted to show. No. So, I don't have any fancy special tools at home. How can I get one of these guys off? Now, listen carefully. You have to be careful. You're going to take a screwdriver. You're going to place it right against one side of this. And you got to remember to spin it counterclockwise. Okay? Let's get this turned around a little better so you can see it. Right against there. And I'm going to give it a smart little rap with my hammer, like so. There she comes. And she will spin off just slicker than a whistle. That is what holds the flywheel on this style of mower. No crap. I'm going to show it to you because I almost broke it. Well, I did kind of broke it. Inside of there are these little ball bearings. They get splayed out into there, and that's what catches as this thing spins up. Now, this pulled apart. It should not have pulled apart, but it did. They are kind of a bear to put back together, to be honest with you. Wait, I just did it. Oh, I am the man. Oh, yes, good for me. All right. So, they can't really come apart, okay, when they're tied down on there. But if they're not tied down there, they can come apart. It kind of gets messy. Now, I'm just going to push that blade brake out of the way currently. Now, to get this off, as I mentioned in class today, and it was a beautiful video. Oh, I wish you could have been here. That's why I recorded it. Oh, wait, it didn't work. Remember, we talked about they will all have magnets. This side is not magnetic, but it looks just like the side that is. Take your screwdriver. Geez, it's magnetic right here, Mr. Groom. Now, the thing to remember on these guys is never, ever do this with a regular steel hammer. Only with a dead blow or a rubber mallet should you attempt this, and never, ever, under any circumstances, on the magnets. So right here, I'm good to blow, good to hammer. I'm going to take some sharp bangs right here. And it's coming off. It's coming. There she comes. And oh, the reason was because some ding-dong, Mr. Groom, had the magnets under the coil, and the magnets were holding it up. So there it comes. Again, on the sides, not on the magnet ends or the other end. These sides are somewhat fragile. Remember, the little key is still in the shaft. Do not lose the little key. Now, because I'm not doing anything with this, I'm just going to set it back on there, like so. And typically, I just go ahead and line up the little grooves. You can see that square in the shaft right there. You can see that square in the shaft right there. I'm just going to then, when I get lined up, just push the key back in. Slicker than a whistle. Get in there, you hippie. Wiggle it a little bit. And then take your screwdriver, put it right on the end of it. You can then help give it a little pushy push. Get you started in the hole. Get in there. Get in there. Okay? Now, that's, to me, I think that's the easiest way. You can try to start pushing you can try to tap try to push the flywheel over it if it's on the shaft, but I've always found that doesn't work as well. So, again, if you're at home, you don't have this tool, you can do this. When you screw it back on, get it tight like that, and then clockwise this time, a smart tap or two here, like so. Well, couldn't it come off? Not really, because the recoil housing sits on top of this guy, okay? Give it a couple smart taps, you're good to go. Now, you're going to do another one, do another one, do another one. Love to. Here's another one, okay? I'm going to get this coil out of the way. It's going to just irritate me in about a minute. So you're going to set it off to the side for right now. Okay, now, what we're going to do is we're going to take this fella off. Now, notice that the other one did not have screws on here. These two screws right here hold this top part on so it can't pop off. The other one's missing its version of those. Now, there is a tool. There is a tool for this style. I showed you this in class, some of you. This is the Flywheel Holder, which is, come here, you hippie. Which is cool if you have one. It sits down the table like so, and then it will not allow it to roll. There is a special wrench that fits over that fella, like so. And, well, this one's already loose, so that was cool. But it fits over there, and then it just is a wrench, and whee, off she comes. Again, if you have it, that's cool. If not, the little hammer trick is perfectly acceptable. Now, I am going to demonstrate this one with what's called a power steering pump puller, or power steering, it's not power steering. I'm sorry, back up, Jay. A steering wheel puller. That's this guy right here. You can buy these for like 20 bucks or something down to like O'Reilly's or somewhere. There's nothing very special about them. They just pull steering wheels off. That's in essence what they do. Frequently, a person will have one of these in their toolbox. That's why I bring it up. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to line it up with these screw holes right here. Okay, now this one's a little weird because it's really super deep and long. So this one's not going to work as well. What I need to do is get some bolts you see that'll reach down to there. I don't have any bolts that are long enough, that are small enough to fit in that one with this kind of puller. So instead, what I'm going to use is a different style of puller. This one right here. Okay? Now, I'm going to pause this for just a second. I'm going to go get some longer arms. These little arms go underneath the flywheel and we pull up with it like so. I'm going to go grab some longer arms and I'll pause you momentarily. So again, I will use that steering wheel puller later. But because this is so long and I don't have a long enough set of bolts for that, I'm going to use just what's called a puller. Okay? So what this guy does, when you hook it on there, it will pull this flywheel right off. Now, it comes with a variety of sets of arms so that it can reach onto longer shafts like this one or shorter shafts. And so it's simply a matter of changing out the arm lengths. I think there's 3 or 4 different lengths in the cupboard over there. Now, so let me demonstrate. Okay, so here are the new longer arms, and we're just going to put them in there like so. Push this pin in, and then take the other one, same thing on the other side like so. I'll hold it up for you in a jiffy so you can see it. Now, not everybody has a puller. That's why I show you the hammer trick. That is why, so this is what it looks like. Okay? Now, that's why I show you the variety of methods. Okay, I've done them all of those ways over the years. Yeah, it is what it is. Now, I will spin this around in a second so you can see it better after I get it kind of on there. Oh, dang it. So what's going to happen is this, okay? What's going to happen is this. I get these arms underneath of the pulley, the flywheel in this case. Not a pulley, it's a flywheel. Okay, and I make sure that I am not putting it on under the magnets. And then I tighten this screw. This screw, as it comes down top of the shaft here, as it comes down top of the shaft, as I screw it down, this piece is going to be lifted up with a lot of force. A lot of force. And when it comes up, it's going to pull this pulley up with it. Again, watch, here she comes. And you can see it starting to move. Okay, now a lot of times they're a lot tighter than this one happens to be. And I just keep coming and coming, and a lot of times there'll be a big bang when it lets loose. Okay, but that is how this kind works. This is a puller. Again, they're kind of expensive, and not everybody has one. Okay, so if you don't have one, hey, no big deal. Go get you, just use the hammer trick carefully, or run up to O'Reilly's and then I'll show you how to do the next trick. Now, again, if you go to O'Reilly's, let me just say this. Let's say you go to O'Reilly's and you get yourself a steering wheel puller. Okay, understand that won't work on this one, and it won't work because the shaft is too long. It's not going to cut it. There's going to be too much sticking out, and unless you get super long bolts. So these kits come with a selection of bolts. Okay, and you're certainly welcome to go down to Ace and get you longer ones, and that would work. But I looked in the back, and I don't have anything that's that long. No, oh well, it's not the end of the world. So this other engine over here, this dirty, disgusting one, has a shorter shaft on it. So that's the one I'm going to do this way. Okay, so here I come. Clear off some room here. Slide this fella over. Again, we talked about this. You could try to hold that guy. You could try to hold it with a with that wrench. That's a lot of work. I don't think I'm going to. It's too late in the afternoon. I'm just going to use an impact to get that off. Well, I am if I can find my freaking socket. Where'd I put it? No. Where's the... There it is. I found it. I found it. I got this. Nope. Make sure you're always going counterclockwise if you mean to loosen. Okay. Off comes the bolt. The nut, rather. Pull it off. Again, there is no washer, but there should have been one. Now, look how disgusting and rusty this is. This one may fight me. It may fight us. We'll see. Now, I look in there, and these two, of course, because I wanted to do this quickly, these two guys right here don't have any threads in them currently. Mr. Groom, can you fix that? You better believe it, pal. So I'm going to pause you for a jiffy, and we're going to talk about, hey, using a tap. This is exactly what I would use a tap for. All right, now, would I ever really do this, tap it in the real world like this? No, I'll tell you, and I'll tell you why. I wouldn't do this because I would just use the hammer trick. Are you with me? That one, you know, it pretty much always works. What I'm showing you is this. Many of them come with threads in these holes already. And so if you're lucky enough that you have that situation, then the steering wheel puller will work dandily. And again, it only costs about 20 bucks to buy one. Keep it in your toolbox. Use it the rest of your life. Take your own steering wheel off. Have fun in there. You know, that sort of thing. It's a good time. But it's a very cheap way of doing it. Especially if you are afraid of hitting it with a hammer. Although, one shouldn't be that afraid if one is using a rubber mallet or dead blow rubber hammer and one is swinging not at the magnets. One should not be afraid to use the mallet or the hammer trick. Okay, one should only be concerned about that if one is, you know, trying to do that with a sledgehammer or a ball peen hammer or something. In which case, yes, you should be concerned, and yes, you should be ashamed of yourself because that was a silly thing to do. Okay, now here are the proper bolts for this guy. Matter of fact, I did. How do you know? Because I did it this afternoon on an engine and I recorded it and it didn't get saved. Ah, that's how I know. So I take it, I'm going to screw these guys in to those two holes. Now, usually you can screw them in with your bare hands pretty easily, 4 or 5 threads. But if it doesn't want to, if it doesn't want to play along, you know, you're like, oh, I feel like I only got it in 1 or 2 threads. Don't start pulling on it until you get it seated in there 3 or 4 or 5 threads. If you're ever wondering if you did or not, get a wrench, socket, what have you, and tighten these guys down a skosh. So I'm just going to go in, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 turns here. Okay, now, if you look in here, so I tip it so we can see it. When I screw down with this screw here, it's going to come up. It's going to push on the shaft down there. You can see that. And again, it's the exact same principle as the other one. It just has a slightly different look to it. So now you can do this with a wrench. you certainly can. You're more than welcome to do it with a wrench. But again, it's late in the afternoon. I'm going to use my impact to do it. Okay? Now the game is you tighten this. So we need to be going clockwise with our wrench, or in this case, our impact. So I'm going to give it a few little tappy taps with the old impact here. And wow, she did not budge. She slipped off a little bit. That's okay. We can do it. We got this. We got this, Mr. Groom. Stupid piece of junk. Okay, now, apparently I didn't get enough threads in there, so I'm going to go ahead and screw that in a little further this time. And I lost my washer, of course. Here's a washer. All right. Nice. Okay. Now, again, kind of a big deal that you get in there far enough that they don't strip the threads out, Mr. Groom. Pay attention to your own self, you ding-dong. So, I'm going to back this out a little further, and I'm going to go ahead and screw both of those guys in a little tighter. Now, this one I don't think has been off in a long time, if ever. So, yeah, she's probably stuck on there pretty good. All right. Now, you will run into some that are just stuck tight. That's okay. Just understand that those ones are going to take a little more doing. Now, I'm going to give it a little pappy. I'm going to put just a little bit of tension on it, like so. Now, it seems to be holding steady that time. While I do this, sometimes I combine both or two of the methods. So right now, there's some tension pulling up on that thing, okay? It's at this juncture, I take the hammer, and again, not on the magnets, and give it a little tap. All right, nothing happened. A little bit more with the old bang bang gun. It's pulling hard. Okay. Now, some mowers, like this one here, is completely rusted up. This doesn't surprise me. It's fighting me this hard. Okay. Okay. All right. I'm going to go a little bit more with the impact. Ooh, she is tight. She does not like this. She came off. Friends, that is how it's done. Once again, do not lose your key. Do not lose it. Okay? Now, that one fought us hard. Why did it fight us that hard? Because it hasn't been off in a gazillion years and it's completely rusted. That's why. Okay? We will prevail. Remember that. Okay? Now, again, when we do these three methods, which one should I choose? Man, it depends on what you have for a tool. Where are you? Are you out in the desert somewhere and all you got's a rubber mallet or a dead blow? That's the way you got to do it, friend. You got to know Riley's handy. I'll run down there and get you a, if you already have threaded holes in this guy, which most of them do, then go down and get you a steering wheel puller. That's great. Mr. Grimm, they aren't already tapped. Well, then I wouldn't do it this way. I just use the hammer trick. Hey, my dad has a puller in his toolbox. Well, then use the puller, by God. That's cool. Lots of ways to get here. Just get here. That's the important part, okay? I'm going to put this baby back on now. Oh, that wasn't helping us. We were fighting against this stupid flywheel break up here a little bit, too. That's cute. All right. I'm just going to put this back together. That's it, friends. That's what I wanted to show you at the end of the school day today. So on your Saturday, Friday, whatever tomorrow is, Friday, I guess, you're going to be watching this. You're going to be watching this and thinking about, hey, there are 3 ways to do this. There's always multiple ways to do these guys. Just like there's multiple ways to do governor, just like there's multiple ways to enrichen the fuel mixture at startup, multiple ways to do all of that foolishness, okay? So always remember that going forward. Always, 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 always remember that. Always more than one way to skin a cat, okay? That's it. That's all. I'm out. Have a great day. We gone.